Let's go. Let's go. Here we are, guys. What's up? Happy Labor Day. Happy holiday. What's going on? This is Eddie Gray. So nice to be with you. So nice to see you, feel you, experience you on this moment. My name's Eddie Gray. I'm your host. In the Mix with Eddie Gray, brought to you by HF Music Academy. And we're so happy to be here and share with you all of this valuable information regarding Logic Pro, regarding mixing and mastering, regarding all things music licensing, and essentially teaching you how to make some bread doing what you love. A lot of the members over at hfmusicacademy.com have already started seeing the benefits. Some of them are making a couple hundred. Some of them have made more than that. And we're just really excited to be able to share the knowledge. It was but 7 years ago that I was essentially sleeping in my car, didn't know how to pay for rent. I just needed to find a way to do what I loved. And luckily, through a series of events, I was able to find a path, and I made myself a promise back then that one day when I had some influence, when I was set up, decked out, within my studio, here I am in North Hollywood, sitting in my own studio here, just upgraded my entire rig. I got the API 500 series, blessings. I got the Kemper amp, blessings. Got the reamp, the SVC, blessings, new guitar, blessings. And I just thought one day I'm going to be able to give it back. One day I'm going to be able to sit and I'm going to decide how to give of my time. And this is the perfect arena on so many levels. And I can explain more details later. But for now, I want to get right into our session. We are currently working with live loops. This is the hottest new thing in the market today. A lot of updates recently. Complete Control, Isotope, Logic Live Loops 10.5 is by far the most interesting and to me what's going to make the biggest change overall in music and how we create music as a whole. Now, Ableton, it is true, first came out with this concept a couple of years ago, but the fact of the matter is that Logic has taken this subject, Logic has taken the loop workflow and has done something entirely different with it. And so this is why I want to share the information with you. Now, before we start on the channel, I like to do things a little bit different. As you guys know here, these aren't rehearsed, these aren't polished videos. We go from the heart and then we show you the core of the lesson, the core of the information. No fluff, just buff. I just made that up. All right, so let's get into my screen here. I want to read this book with you. This is something that we do on the channel just to kind of keep our mental state, our peak performance state intact. Because as you guys know, this is not just a musical game. This is a game of the mind, a game of persistence and resilience. And if you have that together, and if you have all of your ducks in a row, and you have the right community, and you've got the right tunes, then you're certainly prepared to make it in the game today. So I want to get into it. Go ahead. Let's take a look here. I'm looking at one of my favorite books of all time. This one's called Steal Like an Artist. If you haven't read it, do me a massive favor. Go ahead and check it out. It is such a good read, especially for those of you that feel like you're imposters. This is kind of what we were talking about last time. The imposter syndrome. The clinical definition is a psychological phenomenon in which people are unable to internalize their accomplishments. How about that? You've gone all this way, you've done all this work, you've made all these sacrifices, you've bought all these plugins, you've told the entire world that you're a musician, and inside you feel like a phony, like you're just winging it, that you really don't have any idea what you're doing. And then this is the best part, team. Guess what? None of us do. Ask anybody doing anything truly creative, and they'll tell you the truth. They don't know where the good stuff comes from. They just show up and do their thing every single day. Now, let me tell you something. I can attest to this on so many levels. Not only because I have created the Logic curriculum for Apple, Learnquest, not only because I've taught thousands of people all across the world, have showed them my flawless system on how to learn Logic, how to take on mixing and mastering, but mostly because I've composed for television, for film, short films, things like that, commercials, and I still don't exactly know how to formulate it. I've done a pretty good job of being consistent and having, a bunch of consultation work and students under my wing, and I've done my best to describe in sequence how this magic works, how you capture the magic in the bottle. But the truth is no one really knows how this occurs. We all have educated guesses, right? We all have experience, but really what's going to make the difference at the end of the day is your research, your accomplishments, your take on this. You can't become a copy of somebody. You have to kind of find a new way, create a new iteration, a new version of this music game. All right, here, let's get back into it. So fake it till you make it. Have you ever heard of dramaturgy? I hope I said that right. It's a fancy term for something William Shakespeare spelled out in his play As You Like It about 400 years ago. All right, let's check this out. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. Another way to say this, fake it till you make it. So the Shakespearean way of saying this is one man in his time plays many parts, and then, of course, kind of the modern translation, fake it till you make it. I love this phrase. There are two ways to read it. Pretend to be something you're not until you are. So this is the kind of fake it until you're successful, or until everybody sees you the way you want them to. Or number two, pretend to be making something until you actually make something. This is cool. This is a new take on it, right? We've heard the first one thousands of times before. What about this one? How does this translate? Pretend to be making something until you actually do. So maybe you sit down at the piano, maybe you pick up your guitar, you set up your microphone, and you start tracking or, working in the step sequence or whatever, it needs to look like. And then all of a sudden, just by going through the motions, because you've been disciplined, because you've been on it, because you've been working, because you've been putting in the time, all of a sudden that muse, that spirit's able to come through you, and you're able to work and be free and be creative, which is what we all want. This is why we read all the books. This is why we, form all the associations. This is why we watch all the courses. This is why we're on YouTube in the first place, to experience freedom and expression and full flight when it comes to doing what we love. I love both readings. You have to dress for the job you want, of course, not the job you have. And you have to start doing the work you want to be doing. I also love the book Just Kids by the musician Patti Smith. It's a story about how two friends who wanted to be artists moved to New York. You know how they learned to be artists? And here's a quick quote: "You start out as a phony and become real." So just a word of encouragement to all my friends here is, it's okay if you don't feel like you have it all together right now. All right. It's okay if you don't like exactly know what chord progression to play, or you don't exactly know, how to make this song, or you don't know how to, create the transitions, or how do I write the 808s. It's okay. It's okay. You start out as a phony and you become real. Glenn O'Brien. This is kind of a funny little illustration here. Here's the script, which is time, the props, your DAW, and then the stage, your desk, and your studio. All right, so look, they pretended to be artists. My favorite scene from which the book gets its title: Patti Smith and her friend, the photographer Robert Mapplethorpe, dress up in all their bohemian gypsy gear and go to Washington Square Park, where everybody's hanging out. This old touristy couple is gawking at them. The wife says to her husband, "Oh, take their picture. I think they're artists." "Oh, go on." The husband disagrees. "They're just kids." The point is, all the world's a stage. Creative work is a kind of theater. The stage is your studio, your desk, or your workstation. The costume is your outfit, your painting, your pants, your business suit, or that funny hat that helps you think. The props are your materials, your tools, and your medium, your muse. The script is just plain old time, an hour here or an hour there, just time measured out for things to happen. So one way to think about it is fake it till you make it. And then the other way to think about it is faith it until you make it. So have the faith, take a step forward in the direction of your dreams and your aspirations, everything that you know to be real. And then eventually, when the time comes, it will step towards you. And that's the way it works, guys. I didn't know this stuff before, and then it just suddenly became real into my life. I just sold 3 songs to a publisher, paid jobs. By the way, I just closed a big production deal. I got a client. I'm gonna go to his house next month. We're doing a couple songs, an EP. I just closed a deal with Viacom and the NFL. A couple of members of hfmusicacademy.com are in that, and so they get to now kind of enjoy the wealth as well. And so there's so many things that you could do. I was on the phone with the president of a publishing company last week. We closed a deal. We're bringing in some of the writers from our squad, from our clan. So many things you can do, so many opportunities if you just look for them. I just got a payout today for one of the courses that I work on. And so you can do it. All right, find your lane, find your avenue, and get to work. All right, with all that being said, it's time to get into live loops. You ready? Here we go. All right, so last we left off, we were working inside of live loops. All right, and we were trying to just kind of decipher a workflow, figure out, just how exactly we're going to move forward here. So one thing before we move on that I want to point out is, if you're working inside of live loops, I want you to go ahead and create a cycle region in the tracks area. Now, this is a session where I'm going to try and go over some beginner stuff as well as just some intermediate stuff. But the important thing here is to understand is that the tracks area here on the right hand side, it has a referenced time position. So it has a musical stamp, if you will. So this is like bar 29, right? Or there you go. And then if you want to go to bar 2, or if you want to go to bar 60, all of this is time-stamped. But the live loops grid here on the left-hand side doesn't have a timestamp per se. It doesn't reference a musical timeline. And so it's important that you understand that there's a relationship between the playhead, hence the musical time ruler, and the live loops grid. Now, how this connects is through a little nifty feature called the quantize start indicator. And you can see that here on the right-hand side. Let me see if I can zoom in. I believe you guys will be able to see that. I'm not sure. I can't see it on my second screen here. But anyway, quantize start, and you'll be able to determine the playback of the individual cell itself, and then of course the individual scene. Oh yeah, I can see that. So you guys can actually see when it is that I zoom in. I love it. This is beautiful. This is fantastic. If you guys have any questions for me, go ahead and shoot them my way. We'll be happy to answer anything about Logic, music production, mixing, mastering, music licensing as a whole, and then we'll go from there. So that being said, let's go ahead and just review, like, where are we? I need to listen to this. Let me make sure that my mixer is not going to play this too loud, so you guys are cool and safe. Let me see. Let me play this back just to be sure. One sec. You want to know one of my favorite things about music is, you write it, it just comes out, and then you listen to it a little bit later, and then it just kind of like blows you away. Like, I love that idea. I didn't remember it being that good, and it just kind of jacks me up now listening to it. Like, wow. And kind of going back to the book that we were reading a second ago, Steal Like an Artist, you can kind of just sit there, do something, and then eventually something can come from nothing. All right, I just want to throw that out there because, man, I just don't remember that this thing sounded so good. So anyway, now I'm going to use the arrow keys here. So you can see that. It has to be in key focus. So I'm clicking on the screen. All right, so you can see that the mouse, selecting various cells. Let me move to the scenes themselves. You see how I'm selecting the scenes now at the bottom. So you can trigger a scene, you can trigger a cell. And so now I'm going to trigger scene number 3. How and why? Because it's currently selected. And then why? Because I want to. I'm going to hit return. Here we go. I love it. All right, you know what I'm talking about. So that's how that works. Now, again, I'm going to use my arrow key menu because it's still in focus. And then right now, even though scene number 3 is currently in queue, how do I know it's in queue? Because if I hover over, you can see that it's pulsating. It's primed, it's ready, but we're not going to trigger that. We're going to trigger scene number 4. All right. How do I know? Because if I press spacebar right now, then of course scene number 3 is going to play back because it's in queue right now. All right. But we're not talking about something being in queue. We're talking about hitting play, turning on the light switch, knocking on the door. So I'm going to hit return. Scene number 4. Here we go. All right, cool. So now I'm showing you how to trigger these with your keyboard. You don't have to do it this way. You can use a launch pad. In fact, maybe on the next session, no promises because I got a lot going on right now, but I can show you what it looks like on the launch pad. It's pretty sweet. But that may be a workflow you want to adopt. Another thing you could do, download the Logic Remote app, which is a free app for iPhone users, iPad users, and you can use that and you can trigger the cells and scenes that way. Again, another phenomenal workflow. Depends how you want to do it. Either way, you're going to have fun regardless. I'm going to use my mouse now, okay? So I'm going to mouse around, and I'm going to go to scene number 5. Think of this like the verse, the chorus, the hook, the drop, the bridge. So here's number 5. So that was the only one that I'm like, but let me see. Maybe if I play them back and forth. Yeah, so this one, on second thought, I'm going to go ahead and scratch, not into it, delete. All right, let's check out the last idea. Okay, so there may be some stuff there that we can go ahead and draw up. So here we have ideas. I like to think of this as like just, you know, potential scratch ideas. Let's play with them. Hold on, let me just play the individual cells. So not the whole thing, just like the individual ones. I'm gonna hover over and click. All right, I'm good on that. I wonder if that would fit with what I'm doing here. I don't know. Let's try it. Yeah, not really. It's kind of a different key. I don't know. We got to try it. So here, trip on this sequence, okay? I'm going to hold Option. I'm going to kind of drag up and see if I can get all this to work together. Let me drag this up so it's all uniform. Oh, that's too much. I don't know if I can rectify the hold on. Control Z, is that gonna, yeah, okay, cool. So if you hit Control Z, it kind of it will emphasize and open up a track. The name of that key command is track zoom. So then now let me just reformat this. All right, so look at the way I'm going to trigger this. I'm going to hit track number, is it this one? One sec. No, the one below that. All right, so I'm clicking on this one. It's now in key focus. The playhead is still moving because, remember, I told it to when I selected this cycle region. You need this to keep moving, because if it stops, essentially the live loops grid will not be able to play because it's kind of informed by the playhead. Yeah. All right, so we're here. And so I'm going to go ahead and select, by holding command, selecting track number. Actually, you know what? Let's hold shift. It makes a little bit more sense in this context. So we got piano 2 and then all the drums. And then since all of these are now selected, I'm going to trigger them. Okay. So this is why it's super important to cue them, not trigger rather. So we're going to cue them in order to make sure that they all play back at the same time. Because if I don't do this, then basically I either have to select them all really quickly, which is not a great workflow. And if I hit the scene trigger, it's going to hit them all at the same time. See what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to maneuver which cells are going to play, and not only which ones are going to play, but when they're going to actually play. So right now they're all in queue. See them pulsating. Here, another zoom. Cool. And so then now I'm going to hit spacebar. Spacebar. There you go. All right, cool. So you can see that basically all of those ideas played. Now I'm trying to audition something against my idea. Nothing's really cracking yet, so let's keep going. I'm going to hit Command Return, or go to the bottom right here to essentially stop all the grid playback. Let's listen to this. That could be decent. Again, I'm going to hold Shift while I select all my ideas, and then nothing's going to happen if I just click play. It's just going to, you know, play back this one cell. I want to trigger the whole shebang, so I'm going to cue the cell playback. All of them are ready. Let's go. Spacebar. Okay, so that actually works out quite nicely. So let me hit Command Return, stop all cell playback. Again, the same thing as stopping here. And let me start deleting some stuff, so visually this becomes a little bit easier to digest. All right, cool. And so then now I don't think I need that organ. Let me hear it. Nah, I'm good with that. So I'm gonna put that off, and let's hear the sample. I can't imagine that would work with our part, but All right, so yeah, as a whole, it sounds interesting. Pretty sure I can keep this though. Yeah, let's try this. Ready? Okay, so let's experiment with this concept. So we got this coming in on C4. Hold on. Okay, so now let's start doing some cleanup here because now things are getting kind of out of hand. All right, let's start deleting ideas. So this is the intro, right? That's scene 1. So let me go ahead and start labeling this. If I hit tab, we'll call this the A section. Okay. So we got the intro. Let me hear what all is going to be in the A section. Let's pretend that none of these are. So I'm holding shift, creating what's called a group or an ad hoc group. And then samples. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, let's hold Control M. We're going to mute these. You can also use the cursor tools. That's another option for you there. Let's hit play. Let me see if all of this resonates. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so then I know I don't need these, so let's go ahead and start deleting them. And then this guitar, hold on. So just want to be clear that the reason that happened was because I had the cells in queue and I hit spacebar and then they played back. And my intention was to just hit the one cell, but because it wasn't ready for singular playback, that's why everything else played together. So there's this whole concept of stopping the cell playback. Hold on, let me adjust my volume. Yeah, there's this whole concept with stopping the cells, queuing the cells, and then triggering the cells. As soon as you get that, you guys will be rocking. You'll be totally up and down the live loops grid, just, manhandling all the various parts. And so look, I've kept this specific cell as an unlooped region or cell. A cell is just a region, right? And so then now when I play the entire scene, this one cell will play one time over unless I trigger it again. Now I'm going to pan this over to the right so we get some width. Let's check it out. Ha. Okay, so that works. Let's go ahead and clean up whatever we got to clean up here. I can't imagine any of these things are going to work, so I'm just going to start taking stuff off. I guess I can experiment with this last phase. Hold on. All right. So definitely that is out. Pad sounds weird. I think we're good here. Check it out. Is this MIDI? Oh, okay. So maybe I'll bring in an 808 or an actual bass here. All of these were just audio loops, so I can't really like take the sound and then write something else. But anyway, we have this cool progression here. What is this? Let me think of this. Oh, so these yellow pattern loops, here's the step sequencer, they were actually just hi-hats, as you may have remembered if you watched the last video. This is just a continuation of the last video, and the goal is to learn live loops in and out, to know it, to know the structure of the formula, to have the winning formula, in fact, to understand this deeply. All right, so we had this hi-hat pattern to start. Pretty simple. And then what I did was I replicated that, but then I turned it over in such a way where it made it more exciting and interesting. Let's check it out. All right, so when we go from A section to, I'm going to call this A section, but like, we could just kind of hype it up a little bit. Okay. And then now we get this. Cool. Then we'll move that to something a little bigger. Let's see if this works. Okay, hold on. A lot of stuff here that's not working. It's obviously becoming a pattern. We can see that these are not usually working. The sax certainly doesn't work. I'm not sure about this sample again. I don't know. Let's try it. Sounds pretty good. There may be a couple conflicting notes, so we're going to check that. Usually when I do this kind of work is I'll line up the parts in question. So I know my current harmonic tone is track number 12. Okay, let me go ahead and play these back to back. So like there's something there, but maybe like there's too much low end or something. So we're going to go ahead and start playing with this. I'm going to take a channel EQ, go ahead and remove some of the low end. All right, let's check this out. Let's listen here. Okay, and then something else we can do to kind of make it interesting is we can add some movement. And if you guys know anything about how I work, I love movement. I just love the way it feels, what it does to a track. Let's see if we could do something a little bit different. I don't usually use the fat effects, but let's see if we can find something interesting. Let's do, I know this thing has some interesting patterns. Let me see if I could find a nice preset or something. Let's go with rhythmic. All right, let's see what this sounds like. Whoa, check that out. Nah, we're good. Keep going. Man, that's a big change right there. I wish I had like a sequencer or something that I could look at. But here, let's hear a couple more presets. If not, I'm going to use something else. Actually, I like that a lot right there. So I'm not exactly sure how it's doing it. I'm trying to look at the synth and like, okay, wait, how is this mapped out? How did they map this out? So we'll have to kind of look at this at a different date. But basically, it looks like this is mapped to that, right? And then these are kind of affecting each other. So this LFO is affecting this. And then what is this connected to? It looks like the filter cutoff right here. So I guess not as hard as I thought. The question is, all right. Okay, well, let's play with that later. But here, this actually will sound a little bit better now with that movement. Check it out. So that's an idea right there. If maybe you weren't completely satisfied with the pitch, you wanted to change that up, you could actually do that right here in the cell inspector. Let's see if we could find something that really fits. And hit Command Return, stop all cell playback, because I just want to play these two at the same time. Okay. I'm going to trigger. I'm going to cue the cells by holding Option and then hitting Return. So now they're pulsating. As soon as I hit play or spacebar, here we go. All right, so I actually like this quite a bit in its original key. Now, let me show you an interesting little feature. We're going to change the way that this plays back. So this is called the play from. So right here where it says, here, let's go into the screen here, where it says loop length. Well, rather than it playing the whole time over there, I'm going to go ahead and reduce the loop length. Let's just do 2 bars. Let's see what this sounds like. I'm going to hit E to close the cell editor, right? And let's just hear it back real quick. All right, now I'm going to try something different. I want it to loop starting from, and I'm doing all of this inside of the cell inspector, okay, guys? All right, let's see if I could swing this. I want it to play back, and then, here, let me see if I could change. Okay, so that's that. And then I would love it to start looping, but only right, I believe it would be right there. And man, I better, oh, no, not like that. Hold on, let me just change this. Hold on. I want this to play. Gee. Okay, well, can I just move this over? There's something going on here. Oh, there it is. Okay, sweet. Hold on. Let me move this over. You see what I'm doing? I'm changing the loop length. So this is going to sound a little bit different than what you just heard. I'm just trying to find the sweet spot. I believe it's right there. Could be wrong. Obviously, you just got to play with it. You got to play with it. As long as you know where the parameters are, you should be fine. So here, I'm playing this one. Okay. All right, but here the overall idea. My goal is not that it starts from there. My goal is that it actually starts at bar 1. And here, let me see. Is it going to allow me to do this or not? I basically want it to start playing back at bar 1. Oh, I guess it doesn't do it that way. So the reason I'm going about it this way is because inside of the quick sampler, you can choose a loop length. And it's a really cool idea. In fact, I might even just swing this over into the tracks here. But let me just hear this real quick. All right, hold on. So this sounds a little bit like it's stuttering. It's in the wrong place. Hold on. Let me command return. Let's hear this. Okay, this is not translating. Hold on, let's go back to the beginning here. Hold on, now there's something else that sounds weird. What is that? Let's say E. What's this? No, this is cool. This works. What's this? Oh. Okay, well, yeah, that sounds weird because it's just one note. Can we... What's going on here? Is there a way to fix this? Okay, let me trying to read it. I'm opening up the piano roll. I don't see anything right here. So, yeah, this is kind of interesting. Let me just see if I could change. No, it's definitely is wilding out. Let me delete this and then I'll just drag this one over. Let me see if it fits. All right, hold on. Let me hear this. Okay. Yeah, I hope I didn't miss any. I felt like I had a performance that went dun 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 dun. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Yeah, that's what happened. So we'll just fix this MIDI. So this is now MIDI inside of the live loops grid. Here we go. So here we'll go duh. Yeah, that should work nicely. cool. All right, so that sounds better. Let's see, where was I before that? 1,001 thoughts, guys. Jeez. All right, so we got this part. Swings in at this part. Yep. All of this work sounds good. Let's listen to this next part. Okay, so that all sounds good. There was something in scene 4. What was it? Oh, right. It had to do with the piano thing. What was that? No, that's just a cool drum part. What's that piano part? Hold on. Oh, hold on. Where is that part? Hold on real quick. All right, cool. All right, let's listen and see if there's anything else that we can add here. Not that. Nah, I'm good. Let's keep listening. I like that. I like that the texture. But I'm just not sure about the part itself, and it'll work with my harmony. Remember, I have this like kind of weird chord progression thing here, so it may not work with other ideas that are conventional. So you might want to check those against each other. Hold Shift, cue them, press spacebar or play. So you see how that doesn't work? But what if we sampled it? If we tried sampling that, taking that to the next level? I don't know. Let's give it a shot. Command return. I'm going to take just this one audio region, drag it to the track header, and then I'm going to sample that loop, that audio region. Okay, so let's listen to what they had. All right, but I don't want it for the original performance. I'm just going to kind of sample and take what I need. So here in the sensitivity slider, I'm going to change that around, see if I can get something. Why don't we go like per beat division? Oh, not that much though. Let's just do something simple like, yeah, that. All right, let me hear this with my track now. Okay, so perfect example of how I just took this one note, and by the way, if you don't need this transient right here, I'm gonna control click that and hit delete slice marker. So now I have the entire sample all to myself. Here we go. Right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and filter that out so it sounds a little bit more hollow and just kind of in the background. All right, that sounds pretty cool. Why don't we go ahead and add just like a little bit of modulation to it. I'm going to go ahead and set this so it hits the pitch. So right here it says pitch. I've made basically a connection right there. And I'm going to see how it's kind of going back and forth. Here, let me zoom in so you can kind of really see that. All right. So let me increase the depth of that modulation. That's kind of cool too. Just kind of swooping into it. That's kind of nice. And then maybe I'll... All right, so let's see what this sounds like. Of course, we're going to have to, add some reverb here. So let's go ahead and created a preset inside of the plugin menu called reverb, or it's probably better to call it a category. And then let's go ahead and hit proverb. Yeah, let's go with this guy. All right, and let's make this very dark. Sweet. Okay, let's listen to it now, and then I'll record some MIDI. Here we go. So that sounds pretty cool. And again, you can play with all the features after that, but let's just record something, get it on paper, because, otherwise we're just speculating, right? So we're right here. Let's see, track number 52. I'm selecting it so it's in key focus, and I want to record with everything else playing back. Now, I'm not going to get too far into the live loops grid and just all the information in general, but if you are interested, go ahead and check out my live loops course. It's currently on the Graphy app. So if you just type in live loops, learning live loops with Eddie Gray, you'll go ahead and find that in the Graphy app, and you can get into all the ins and outs. I go over this extensively. So here, I'm going to record MIDI with the rest of the scene. I'm going to control click, and I'm going to say create a MIDI cell. You could do pattern too, but I'm just going to do it this way. And I'm going to cue the entire scene. So now everything is ready, and as soon as I hit record here, all right, here we go. 2, let's go. All right, you guys get it. The point is to get the right performance, try and lock that in. Now, the only issue is I played forever, right? So I'm going to try and find the one MIDI performance that works. If you guys have any questions for me, hit me up. Eddie Gray here at your service on Labor Day, just showing you guys the grind, just showing you the commitment to the game, that no matter what happens, that no matter how far you get from music, you can always come back to it. You can always work, because I know this is what you love. I know this is your gift, and I know this is what you want. And so I'm here kind of standing or sitting and fighting for your dreams and your gift with you. And so I'm just looking for the one performance that really worked out. I'm going to hit Command A and quantize just to kind of do myself a favor. And I'm pretty sure it came in somewhere in the middle here, but I just kept performing it over and over again. So let's hit play. Let's hit play here. And hit K, open up the metronome. All right. So not those. All right. right, you can see that I kind of start getting the idea here, but I'm so off of the grid, so I'm going to nudge these over so everything's on the grid. All right, let's start again. All right, man, I was so off on these. Geez. So let's try and manufacture this, shall we? So I'm gonna line this up to the grid. Notice I'm doing this swiftly. I'm just trying my best to utilize the proper snap to grid mode, and then just trying to get to work. So let's listen. You know what? Let me let me change the loop length because this is like. All right. There you go. It's disturbing my workflow. All right, let's try this. Okay, so that was perfect. No need to recreate the wheel. All right. Do not recreate the wheel. Just Command C. Go to bar number 5. Let's see if I can swing this here in the. All right. No. Get back. All right, cool. Hold on. Very cool. And then you can also just hit Command R and that'll just swing it over. Let's listen to what we got this far. And then we start the pattern over again. So I'm going to take these. Again, I'm not exactly sure where they're going to go, but I'm nudging them over because I know they're going to go. Wait, you went too far. Come back. Sorry, I hit the key command like 50 times, and I'm getting some a little bit of latency here. All right, sweet. Let's check this out. Yeah. All right, and then if I could just get it to loop from there, that would be perfect. If I could just get it to loop from that point on, that would be great. So you could do that here inside of the audio cell editor, or you could do it inside of the cell inspector. So I'm going to do it up there. So what I'm saying is, hey, can you start at bar 4? And then I only want this to loop there for 4 bars. 4, 5, 6, and 7. It's just 4 bars. Let's listen to that. All right, good. And then you kind of have another part. See, that didn't take too long as long as you kind of know what to look for and what to play with. And so that's really what I'm doing here. The whole point isn't to kind of write a whole new song. And I'm just showing you some of the workflows that do come up, because they will come up when you're using live loops. And you got to be prepared. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of information. And there's a lot of misinformation also. And so I just wanted to make sure that I, put the right stuff on YouTube, on the various sites that I'm on. If you want a free resource, go ahead and email support@hfmusicacademy.com. We have free courses that we could send you. One of our courses has over 3,600 downloads to date. It's helping a lot of people. Want to make sure that we get that out there. But the idea is to learn the infrastructure. Just learn the system. What's the system? How is it made up? What are its components? And then once you learn the system, you can get to work in such a way where you're efficient, where you're strong, you're clear, and nothing is in the way. That's what I'm looking for. A clean workflow where you have a relationship to the DAW. This morning, or this afternoon rather, I had a client, and the main message to him was, look, I've got a relationship to this program. You understand? I've given time, energy, blood, sweat, tears to this game, and it recognizes it. It knows. And if you are a good servant and you're consistent and you love it, it will open the doors. Literally, it will allow you in to this exclusive club. And if you don't, and if you just mildly tamper, put your toe in the water, and you don't really dive in, you don't really give it your all, then guess what? It's not going to work out the way you want it to. I know you got a vision in there. I know you have true feelings, true desires, wishes in here. And so you have to find that road for yourself. And it's out there. I'm telling you, it is certainly out there. I hope you have enjoyed your time with, and there's a lot going on right now, guys. I'm moving, building a new studio. Just had the privilege, the absolute privilege of getting my dream studio here. So many great things going on, and I just want to show you some love because I'm dedicated to you. I'm dedicated to the craft. I'm dedicated to the HF Music Academy community and just all creative people as a whole. All right, this channel is dedicated to those who want to look at music in a new way. We're analyzing music. We're breaking things down in a new way. I just want a new perspective, right? We've already seen the same old tired videos. I want something new. I want something fresh. And so I hope you've enjoyed this time together. Live loops is not a joke. Please take the time necessary to learn it top to bottom so you can become a Logic Pro user. All right. Thank you guys very much for your time. Again, if you like the content, all we ask, just one favor. One favor. We just ask that you send this to somebody else. Send it to a friend that's currently learning music production. Perhaps they want to learn live loops. Send this to somebody who wants to monetize their music. You can say that, hey, this guy's in music licensing and, he seems to have his stuff together. If you guys check me out on IMDb or you go check out my website, you guys will know what I mean. All right. I've been hustling very hard to make this work, and it is working. And I want to show you how I've helped other people, guys like Chris Chrisman and hfmusicacademy.com and various other individuals that are on fire right now. So if that interests you, go ahead and check us out. Otherwise, have yourselves a phenomenal week. Have a phenomenal day. And I will see you guys on Wednesday if all is well. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. We're out of here. Cheers.